Commissioner Campbell,
Here.
Commissioner Blower,
Here.
Commissioner Jewell,
Here.
Commissioner Hawkins,
Here.
Commissioner Sorensen,
I'm here.
Commissioner Jordan,
Here.
Commissioner Wesley.
Here, we have a full house. Very well. Any additions or changes to the agenda?
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Jewell. I'd like to add under old business, update on bylaws committee review. That'd be bylaws committee review. And also to add planning commission member orientation update.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Commissioner Campbell,
Mhm.
under new business, would you add the telephone number of 221-0700? 223, I'm sorry. 0500.
223-0700.
Yes.
Okay. Any other additions or changes to the agenda? Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
This is Commissioner Jewell. I'll make a motion to accept the agenda as corrected.
Commissioner Campbell, approve.
Support?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Sounds like I got all ayes. The minutes of August 11, 2020. All 7 pages of them. Well. Are there any additions or corrections to those, the minutes of August 11, 2020? Well, everyone had an opportunity to review?
Yes.
Yes. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of August 11, 2020.
Commissioner Jordan, I would of the minutes from August 11th, 2020.
Commissioner Jordan made a motion to approve the minutes of August 11, 2020. Do I hear support?
Support.
Commissioner Blower, support.
I got a whole bunch of supports there. Good. I heard Blower and Ryan support. Roll for the approval of the minutes of August 11, 2020.
Commissioner Ryan,
Yes.
Commissioner Campbell,
Abstain.
Commissioner Blower,
Yes.
Commissioner Jewell,
Yes.
Commissioner Hawkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen,
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner Wesley.
Yes. The minutes of August 11, 2020 have been approved. Next is a public forum. The public is invited to take part on anything appearing on our agenda this evening. If there's anyone in the public virtual audience that's wishing to address the commission, you can do so at this time. As I understand it, if anyone is out there wishing to address the conditional use information for Clark Commons. That would have been SPR 930. Is that correct?
No, it's PC 2380.
PC 2380.
Mhm.
That it's been postponed to our next regularly scheduled meeting, which is September the 8th, 2020. However, if you're on the line, we will take your testimony at this time, just because you're there. Is
Commissioner
there
Wesley,
anyone?
Commissioner
Yes.
Wesley, Bill Vandercook's a point of order. Could we make sure that we get their names and the spelling of their names, please?
Correct.
Thank you.
So if there's anyone in the public wishing to address the commission concerning PC 2380, you may do so at this time. However, when you're identified to speak, please give your name for the record and spell the last name, please. So is there anyone in the public wishing to address the commission?
And for a note as well, to press *9 to raise your hand so we can unmute.
Anyone wishing to address the commission?
Looks like we do.
Hello?
Yep. Hello?
Hello?
Yes,
Yes, can you hear me?
yes, state your name, please.
My name is Ray Hall, Rayhall, but I'm representing an Indian tribe called the Coosa Nation. So at this time, I'm right across the street from where you're building at, and I wanted to mention that Section 1 and Section 3, and I also wanted to mention the Division of Self-Determination Services, so that we can be involved in what's going on with the building of what you're doing with the Commons. And then also the Envision Center, we wanted to be involved with something with that.
Okay.
It's called the Indian Self-Determination Education Assistance Act. I could read the whole thing to you, but I believe you know what I'm talking about, because if you know about Section 1 and Section 3, there's also a section that covers about Indian self-determination. And I'm here in Flint, Michigan with the Coosa Nation.
Mr. Chair, this is Kelly Thompson.
Yes,
If I could ask Mr. Hall to spell the name of the tribe he's representing, that would be great.
Yes, COOSA, Coosa Nation.
COOSA.
COOSA Nation, yeah, Coosa Nation. Yes, yes. I got my chief on the phone, but she's just listening right now. So, you know, I wanted to do something where I can meet with somebody or something, or we could talk with somebody or get a number or something like that, so we can give you more information about what we're doing and everything here in Flint.
Okay, give me a number, a contact number then, please.
Oh, okay. She don't have it right now? She didn't, it was, hello?
I'm still here.
Does she have my contact number? The lady? Do y'all have no ID?
No.
I don't see that on, we don't have that technology. What's your number?
I got three different phones. I'm going to have to get your number from you so I can call you back, because I'm on I got three different phone numbers. Ah, my God. I think it's 620. Is it possible to get a number from you?
Bill, did you want to give our number and your extension?
I'd like to give you, Commissioner Wesley, can I give him the office number here?
That'll be fine.
The zoning office, the number is 810 766 7426, extension 3060.
3060?
Yes, and this is Bill Vandercook.
Okay, I see your name on this thing, Bill Vandercook. Okay, then I can go from there. So I just wanted to get everything on record of what it is that we know about and what we're trying to do ourselves. Again, it's Section 1, Section 3, the Vision Center, the Envision Center, and the Indian Self-Determination Education Assistance Act. So I know you should know about that, and I'll get back with you at 3060. Thank you.
Okay.
I guess I'll hold from there. All right.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the commission?
And again, please, if you could press *9 to raise your hand so we can unmute.
Anyone wishing to address the commission?
All right. We have a resident.
Please state your name and spell your last name, please. Hello?
Trying to figure out how to unmute them. Oh, there they are.
Okay. Hello?
Hello?
Yes. I'm calling for my mother. Her name is Edna Cheney. That's Edna Cheney, Chaney.
Okay.
My question is, right now my mother lives on the corner of Mary and Wood Street. They're on Mary and Avenue A. Well, she lives on Avenue A between Mary and Wood Street. There are only two houses right now on that block. What I'm calling to ask you is, what type of buildings are you going to be putting in that section? Are there going to be apartment buildings, condos, or single residences?
If you recall, can I give him Christian's number? Bill?
I'm sorry, can you give him Christian's number? Kristen's? Yeah, Kristen, are you on the line?
Yes, I'm on the line. Yes, Kristen is on the line. Oh.
Hi, this is Kristen Stevenson. I can give you my phone number. Be happy to talk to you more about the project offline. My number is 810-853-9168.
Is there an extension number?
Nope, that's my cell phone number.
Okay, and what's the best time to call you?
Anytime between 9 and 5 on the weekday.
Okay.
Also, if you stay on the line, the applicant who is applying for site plan approval will be discussing the project if you'd like to hear more about it later in the agenda.
Okay, yes.
Just stay on the line and you'll hear the conversation.
All right, then.
Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anyone else wishing to address the commission? Anyone else wishing to address the commission?
Yes, we have one more resident. They're unmuting themselves.
Are you there?
Greetings. Yes, I'm here. Hi, greetings. This is Dr. Monique Tate. I am Principal Chiefess Sahani Ubi Dali with Coosa Nation of North America. I just wanted to say thank you.
Hold it, Doc. Doc, slow up. You're talking real fast at me now. You're Dr. who?
I'm so sorry. That's my New York accent there. My name is Dr. Monique Tate, and I am the Principal Chiefess.
Will you spell the last name for me, please?
Okay, I'm sorry. Last name is T as in Tom, A as in Apple, T as in Tom, E as in elephant. Tate.
Okay.
Right, you can look me up on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. Yes. Yes, I'm the Principal Chiefess. I'm just here supporting our representative, Mr. Hall, and just wanted to thank him for having me come on and, to learn more information. Thank you for sharing the number for us to, I guess, get more information about the Section 1 and 3. We have members of kinship in several states throughout the United States. So we have representatives in different areas where they are, seeking for information how we can just bring relief to, our members of our people in the areas that they're living in. So I just want to say thank you that I'm just here listening and observing on the call.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to address the commission? Anyone else wishing to address the commission?
And again, we would like to reiterate the star 9, so we could.
Okay. Star 9 to get recognized.
Commissioner Wesley, Bill Vandercook. There's
Bill.
Josephine Jones, I believe, on the line that she called in. She wanted to talk. I asked her if she wanted to, provide any information. She said no, she would just dial in. So I'm not sure if KZ could unmute her and ask her if she'd like to speak.
I think she is unmuting herself.
Hello? Hello?
Oh, we have another resident.
If you would push star 9 and identify yourself.
We got a 5076.
Okay, that is, this is the daughter of Josephine Jones.
Oh, good.
Was there a question that I needed to tell in regards to Page Street and Donald Street? And that's the concern that I have in regards to that. I wanted to know what do they plan to do with that area?
Your question is, we're gonna go through a site plan review, and if you stay on the line, hopefully some of your questions will be answered as to what's happening with that area.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right. Is there anyone else wish to address the commission?
And again,
Anyone?
the star 9.
Star 9 to address the commission. Star 9 to address the commission. Is there anyone else wishing to address the commission? Anyone else wishing to address the commission? That portion of the public forum is now closed. Next item on our site plan review is SPR 20934 D9 AG LLC, requesting a Group F special regulated use site plan review at 3711 Gorey Ave, PID 4109426043. Is the applicant present? This is a matter that was postponed from our last regularly scheduled meeting, I believe.
Yes,
Is the applicant coming in on skydiving? Is that him coming in? Okay. Tell us about your site plan, sir.
Yes, sir. Just before I get started, I want to let you know I'm here with Brenda Williams, Steve Landau, Phil Bozick, and the architect.
Okay.
Jeff. And since we last spoke 2 weeks ago, we've updated all the site plans with all the information you guys were requested. We didn't hear anything back, so we're assuming it's everything you wanted. So just let me know if you have questions.
Questions from the commission to the applicant. I'm looking at the City of Flint's site plan checklist. All the areas that was questioned before seem to have been taken care of. So, commissioners, is there any questions from you to the applicant?
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Jewell.
Go ahead,
And
Commissioner.
to the applicant, just a basic question. I had a chance to review the updated site plan. Looks good. The items were covered. But if you could just verbally walk me through. I'm at the front door. I know it's a growing facility, but just walk me through the facility and so forth.
Okay. First off, I mean, if you walk in the front entrance of our building, you'd be in our office area.
Is this Jeff?
That'll have all our security and state-of-the-art camera system in there.
Excuse me. Is
walk
this
through past that?
Hello?
Be two hallways.
Hello?
Jeff?
Hello?
Hold up. Who's speaking?
Who's
This
speaking?
is Michael Klingler.
Michael, ever so much.
Okay, go ahead, Michael. Go ahead, Michael.
Okay, sorry about that. So if you pass the office area, you'll basically come into a square area. In the center of the square is our vegetative space where we'll be growing, and surrounding it are 6 flower rooms. Cleaning areas, hallways, drying rooms, and pretty basic other than that.
Okay, in process, things like disposal, et cetera, and security.
Oh, absolutely. So we have a state-of-the-art security system that's going in. Like I said, you'll be able to view all that from the office, but the cameras will be throughout the whole entire building. As far as disposal goes, we got a spot going in for a dumpster, and we'll meet all the state regulations for disposal, mixing trash with the used product, deem it unusable.
Okay, Mike, I did notice that regarding, I know it's a building, okay, and I know it's on I'll use the term an industrial site, if that's a good term to use. Is that an appropriate term?
I would say so.
Okay. And regarding landscaping, I know you have a fence around the side, and I think the only basic landscaping is a grass area in the front. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Okay, those are just a couple of key updates that I was interested in. Thank you ever so much, Mike.
You're very welcome.
Commissioner Ryan.
Yes.
Do you have some questions concerning ventilation?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
First question I'd like to ask, in your growing area, what type of growing procedure are you doing? Are you doing lights and controlled temperature? And what source of are you going to grow? I mean, what way? Dirt, water, artificial? Just to start off.
Yeah, no problem. So the base that the plants will be in is a coconut coir. It pretty much looks like dirt. Most people would call it a dirt grow. We'll use LED lights to light the room, and yes, air conditioners and dehumidifiers to condition the space.
Is that area separated so that it'll be controlled?
Yes, there's 7 different grow rooms that'll be individually controlled.
And that is separated, correctly?
Yes, sir.
Because you said you had several different rooms. Will all of them be the same way, or that's just the procedure for one room?
Nope, all of them will be identical.
Okay.
And I meant to say 7, not several. Sorry for the miscommunication.
Okay. As far as ventilation, how are you going to, well, are you going to vent it by what method? Or is there any ventilation? Through the roof, of course.
Absolutely. So there is going to be a little bit of ventilation installed in case we have to fumigate the room, but for the most part, it's self-contained so that we add CO2 into the environment, and we do not want to flush that out because we're paying for it.
Okay, thank you very much.
It's a couple of other, there's another business there, Interstate, I think it's Interstate Battery.
Correct.
And I understand from conversations that said on any given day, they can get contact highs because of the smell. So is anything that deal with odors that you guys are got in place?
Yeah, so we will use carbon filtration when we send the air outside, which will cut the smell, but also I don't know exactly how they were doing their operation there before, but with it all being self-contained, we shouldn't leak very much odor, and we'll also carbon scrub internally to stop that.
So it'd be a carbon scrub, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Sir.
Is there any other questions from the commissioner to the applicant?
Yes, I have. What are the questions, Mr. Commissioner Ryan? You say you will be growing, so my question is, are you growing from seed, growing from plant, or are you cloning?
Most of everything will be cloning, potentially some seed starts if we need to, but the plans for clones.
Okay. So that means you'll get them from another source, your plants.
They will come internally from our own plants to regenerate more.
From another source, or you regenerate them at the facility?
Yes, sir, at the facility. That way we can ensure that they're clean and what we need.
Okay, thank you very much. That was my concern.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from the commission to the applicant? Okay. Thank you. What is the desire of the commission? Any discussion?
This is Mr. Chair. This is Commissioner Joel.
Yes.
I just want to compliment Mike and the rest of the staff for their follow-up and providing the specific information that we had an interest in. So I just want to compliment them on that.
Thank you for that. We appreciate it.
Very good. What is the desire of the commission?
Mr. Chair, I would like to make my motion. Commissioner Blower.
Yep, Blower, go ahead.
I move approval of SPR 2934 D9 AG LLC, the request for a Group F special regulated use located at 3711 Gorey Avenue, PID 4109426043.
Do I hear support for the motion?
This is Commissioner Jordan. I would support the motion.
Commissioner George supported the motion. Any further discussion? Roll for approval of SPR 2934 D9 AG LLC requests for a Group F special regulated use site plan review for 3711 Gorey Ave, PID 4109426043. Roll.
Commissioner Ryan? Commissioner Ryan?
Commissioner Ryan is muted. Commissioner Ryan, if you could click *6.
Commissioner Campbell?
Yes.
Commissioner Blower?
Approval.
Commissioner Blower?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
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 Okay. Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Jewell?
Yes, for approval.
Commissioner Cook Hawkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen,
Yeah.
Commissioner Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner Wesley.
Yes. To the applicant, your site plan has been approved.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Commissioner Wesley,
Yes.
I'd like to thank Brenda Williams personally.
I'm sure she appreciated it. Mr. Williams, I don't know what you're doing, but I can't see you this time. Are you still there?
She's on mute. So,
Oh, that's a good thing.
I heard that. I heard that.
Oh, no, I thought I muted my eyes. You didn't hear that, did you?
Yes, I did. I'd like to thank you all, though, for today. And I think that you all are going to be very proud of Commissioner Jordan when they come back, because they truly want to do something also in the community with their
Very
community
good.
benefits.
Good, Brenda. Good to see you, kid.
It's always good to see you.
All
And
right.
you guys have a good night.
You too now.
Good
Bye.
time.
Next item on our agenda is SPR 2935, Clark Commons, LDHA, North Star Development, requesting a site plan review of Clark Commons Phase 3, located at scattered sites within the boundaries of Mary Street, Louisa Street, Saginaw Street, and Martin Luther King Ave. And the parcel numbers details are attached. Okay, is the applicant present?
Yes, this is Adam Coppersmith with Fusco, Schaefer, and Pappas Architects. We're the architect for North Star for the development.
Okay, Adam, tell us about Phase 3 of the
So,
location.
Yeah, Phase 3 is the third phase of Clark Commons. The first phase of the project is currently under construction, which includes an apartment building on Saginaw, and then also townhomes within the same neighborhood as Phase 3 is proposed. Phase 2 is a project which has received site plan approval already and is getting ready to begin construction, and is again townhomes within the same neighborhood. The third phase, which is the one we're discussing today, includes an apartment building on Saginaw, which will be 3 stories and 24 apartment units. And then it also includes 24 townhouse buildings within the boundaries you'd mentioned: Saginaw, Martin Luther King, Louisa to the south, and Mary Street to the north. Those 24 townhomes will include, or 24 buildings will include 74 townhouses, ranging from single-family units that are to 4-bedroom units, and those all some are ranches and some are 2-story units. The idea of this phase, along with the first 2 phases, is to help bring this neighborhood back, to fill in those empty spaces where homes have been are either currently vacant or have been demoed and are just currently vacant lots. We're trying to help reestablish this area, and Phase 3 is a continuation of those first phases to try and support that.
Okay. One question I have: I've drove through this area several times now, because that's in the 5th Ward. Could you give maybe some of the listening audience the texture, the material that these houses will be structured out of? I think it's brick and, go ahead.
Yeah, so the townhomes will be brick and vinyl sided properties, wood trim. They're traditional in appearance, similar to the homes that are there. They're not a contemporary or modern design, is keeping with the existing homes and the architecture of the neighborhood. Not trying to do anything drastic, but to help, as I mentioned, complete the neighborhood or fill in those existing gaps of the neighborhood.
Okay. Okay. Questions from the commissioners to the applicant. I know if you got your, I don't know what to call this volume of the blueprint we got, but it was mammoth.
I call it the book.
Okay, because it was mammoth. I had a great time spread out across my floor trying to read this. So, questions from the commission to the applicant.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Jewell. And is it Adam?
Correct.
Okay, Adam, this is Commissioner Jewell. First off, thank you ever so much for the overview and addressing the question that Mr. Wesley had in regards to walking through. I was quite impressed by the site plan packet. I too had to put it on the floor and turn the many pages and look at the details. I give you credit for your diligence in filling out the detail effort. But could you just kind of verbally update for us? I know you had a number of pages regarding the landscaping around the facilities and the buildings. Could you just kind of verbally share some of that?
Yeah, regarding the landscaping, if you looked through the package, as you mentioned, there will be some planting in the immediate fronts of the homes, small bushes and mulching. And then there'll also be some trees planted along the street so that as those mature, they'll help to create a tree-lined landscape of the neighborhood along the streets. And as far as the land itself, we are keeping most of the excavated land or dirt on the sites. And so that will, in some areas, create a little bit of topography to say it won't be completely flat as the neighborhood is not currently. That'll help to control the drainage on the sites, but it'll also help to keep the sites more natural. We're not going to flatten everything so it's a flat, it looks more natural to say.
Yeah. Adam, again, this is Commissioner Jewell. When I was walking through the landscaping aspect of it, I was duly impressed because, as you pointed out, it wasn't just, excuse the expression, a building on a flat lot. It was very detailed, as you noted in regards to the shrubs, the topography, and also the trees. So I just wanted to highlight that.
Okay.
Yeah, well, like as I mentioned, we're trying to make sure that it maintains with the existing neighborhood.
Right. Mr. Chair, those were the major questions and inquiries that I had.
Okay. Other questions from the commission to the applicant?
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Jordan. I had a couple questions. The first is, I know our materials referenced that there would be an anticipated public hearing at our next meeting around a conditional use, and I'm wondering if you could just explain more about that and give us some information.
Sure. So the conditional use is specific to a few sites. They're going to be along Mary Street between Avenue A and Avenue B. And it's also going to be on Mary Street between Donald and Albert. And then also on Crosby Street to the east of Donald Street. So those buildings, there are going to be 6 of them that are 4-unit buildings, and they're currently zoned as a B use group. And a B use group, as I'm sure you're aware, allows for a 1 or 2 bedroom, or excuse me, 1 or 2 unit building. As these are 4-unit, it is an allowed use for the B zoning, but it is a conditional use, so it does need to be given approval to allow for the 4-unit buildings.
Okay, thank you for that. And so just to be clear, we're not acting tonight on any potential conditional use for that. So I guess for me, that would imply that if we were to approve the site plan tonight, it would have to be on a conditional basis. So my next area of question is around the district dimensional requirements and the setbacks. So as I was looking through the packet here, and I'll use the minimum setbacks on the front as an example, although there's a couple of other places where I noted a similar thing. So in the left column, you got district requirement, minimum setbacks for the front. In the middle part, that's the ordinance standard. And because you're dealing with so many different properties, there's different zoning designations that each have their own standards. And then on the right, we've got the proposed plot plan, which again corresponds to each of those district standards. I'm noting that for the front setbacks for the B district, it shows 25 feet being the minimum setback for the front. And then over on the right side where it talks about the proposed plot plan, it appears, if I'm reading this correctly, that there's one area where it says 20 feet as opposed to what the 25 is that's required by ordinance. Can you address that, please?
So we had gone through a zoning board of appeals regarding the setback requirements for the building because they are shallow lots. We're maintaining a location similar as far as its distance from the road, but also allowing for a rear yard that the rear yards are less than the requirement of a 30-foot minimum rear yard. But the as we discussed in the zoning board of appeals meeting, the individual units of the buildings do not have a designated backyard, as it's not just the land directly behind them. So they're allowed to share the land behind, or that's on the lot, to the left, to the right. It's not individual spaces. It's all kind of a communal rear yard. So the buildings are located so that they can maintain a front setback that's similar to the other existing homes on the street. And then also it allows for off-street parking and can still maintain a driveway in front of the building. So then we've still got a rear yard and a front yard and maintaining similar distances, setbacks to the existing homes. And we did go through the zoning board of appeals meeting last week in which the setback was allowed or was approved.
Thank you. And does that same reasoning with the ZBA, does that also apply in terms of the maximum building height and the maximum lot coverage percentage?
Yeah, we do not exceed those.
Right.
Okay. Okay, because for the, I guess for the maximum lot percentage, I was looking at B, 50% is the max. And then on the right, in terms of proposed plan, there was one that was at basically 32, another at 42, and there was one that was listed at 62%.
Would you be able to refer me to which one that was? Did you have that?
Certainly. So maximum lot coverage for the B district, the maximum allowed is 50%. And then in the right column there, this is page, I don't know if you have the same document I do, but page 4 of the site plan checklist. And it shows there 62.1% for block 3.N.
One second.
Is that in the third one down, Commissioner Jordan, that you're talking about?
3.9. Okay, so this is the property along Mary Street. Sure. I believe, and you are correct in that the lot coverage is greater. I I believe that's an oversight, and that I believe that it is at 50% allowance, and this one is at 62. So it would be an oversight in this instance that it would exceed. But as mentioned, the buildings are designed in a way in trying to maximize those sites, in allowing them to be a larger building. It allows for larger expanses of green space. If they were individual units, or there were more units that were smaller buildings. So if they were, let's say, multiple 2-unit buildings versus having a 4-unit building, you'd have much smaller segments of green space. And by combining the units and making them a singular larger building, or in this instance, a couple of larger buildings, it allows for, like as mentioned, those larger expanses of green space versus multiple small expanses.
Sure, I appreciate that, and I guess I'm just, part of our role is to make sure all the I's get dotted and the T's crossed. So I know that you mentioned earlier that you'd be pursuing the conditional use request at a future meeting. I didn't know whether this particular aspect was also to be covered at that point, or if there was a different path for how you propose to reconcile that difference.
If we have that opportunity, then we would definitely discuss that at the conditional use hearing, or in that instance, if we could get that approved along with the allowance on the B use group.
Okay. Commissioner Jordan, would you point out again, you say it's on page 4?
Yeah, it's on page, so there, I know there's we received 2 copies of the site plan checklist.
Okay.
And so the one, I'm not sure how to differentiate them here. The one that I'm looking at is the one that had kind of the bold check marks rather than the X's to mark things off.
Right, I got that one.
Yep, so I'm on page 4 of that one, under maximum lot coverage percentage.
Right, you got B 50%.
That's what's the max allowed, and then there's one of the projects listed to the right there where it says 62.1% block 3.N, indicating that there's one of the projects in that B zoning that has a 62% maximum coverage, or coverage rather.
Yeah, 62.1.
Correct. So just, wanting to point out that, so that if there's additional action that needs to be looked at in terms of how that discrepancy is overcome.
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Jewell.
Yes.
I'm looking at that same information that Commissioner Jordan has brought up. My understanding that the applicant shared with us that the ZBA approved the change in the setbacks, if I'm correct on that. Would it not be the CBA's role to also address this particular block 3, 62.1% versus 50%?
I don't know, would it necessarily have to go back through ZBA, or is that something that we could deal with in a conditional use?
Oh, as a conditional use, okay.
As a conditional use there.
Well, it may be, since we have the authority for conditional use, it allows us within that realm, and I can be corrected, to determine parameters of that conditional use. Is that not correct, Mr. Chair?
I think that is correct, but we have Attorney Thompson.
Mr. Chair, Marty, unmuted. I can look into this issue before the next meeting or whenever the conditional use is going to be brought for a public hearing. I can certainly look into this and provide the commission with a legal opinion.
Okay. We'll note.
So Mr. Chair, and I guess this is directed to Commissioner Jordan, are there other related specifics that may need to be addressed so that we could put on a checklist for follow-up for the next meeting?
So this is Commissioner Jordan, the questions that I had were about the setbacks, which I understand got addressed by ZBA, and then the maximum lot coverage. I didn't notice any other, what I'll call a discrepancy between what the code seemed to allow outright and what was being proposed. That was the only one that I saw.
I think if I heard Adam correctly, he said this might have been an oversight at that part.
Well, Mr. Chair, I know I have a tendency to be detailed, and I went through everything and I overlooked it. So
yeah. Okay, but we can. I think we can clear it up at our next scheduled meeting. If it was indeed an oversight, and that can be, I think, corrected very easily.
So Mr. Chair, I know we're still getting review by the different commissioners. If we make a decision regarding this site plan, would we need to hold that specific item separate from any approval?
Mr. Chair, this is Kelly Thompson.
Yeah.
And if I'm understanding the concern here correctly, I think it would be appropriate to postpone a decision as to the site plans, because it sounds like this concern is encompassed within the site plans. So if the commission's decision would depend on the outcome of this concern with the lot coverage, then my recommendation would be to postpone.
Would it then be, Kelly, this is Commissioner Joel, would it then be appropriate that if we decide to postpone, that we address the public hearing conditional use at our next meeting and then address this particular site plan? Is that the intent?
As opposed to having them in successive meetings?
No, well, my understanding, Kelly, as you shared it may be appropriate to postpone any decision on the site plan till our next meeting, correct?
Correct.
Okay. My next question then is, would it be more appropriate for us to hold the public hearing on the conditional use first, which we've normally done in the past, and then address the site plan after that?
I think that'd be the way to go. But I'm sorry, Allie.
Yeah, no, if I'm understanding all the concerns here correctly, then yes, I think the public hearing before the site plan review would be appropriate.
So then we would then be able to address any related issues during the public hearing, make our decision accordingly, and then pending our decision on the public hearing is then to address the actual specifics of the site plan.
Right. So if I could make sure that I'm understanding this correctly,
Sure.
This is getting a little technical for my expertise, but the decision of the commission as to the conditional use, if that's going to include the lot coverage question, then the conditional use, whether it's granted or denied, that would determine, at least in part, the decision as to the site plans.
And that was my understanding, Kelly.
Okay. If that's the case, then yes, then that order would be correct.
Okay. But Mr. Chair, that doesn't prevent us from this evening responding to any other specific questions or concerns we have regarding the site plan, since it's
No.
already on our agenda.
That's
Okay.
correct.
Okay. And with that, I think it's be appropriate to then pass back to Commissioner Jordan. Commissioner Jordan, thank you ever so much for allowing me to clarify my understanding.
Of course. Yeah, and that was
Put it
related.
up to waters.
Yeah, so it sounds like if it comes to it, if we need to switch the order of the agenda for next time, as we have in the past,
Okay.
we have the public hearing before the site plan, we can always do that. But yeah, again, and I don't raise this in order to be a stick in the mud or to, you know, to say that I'm opposed to the project or anything like that. I just want to make sure that everything is tied up neatly and that we've covered anything procedurally that we need to do to make sure that that this has been fully examined.
Okay, very well. Is there any other questions from commissioners to the applicant?
Mr. Chair, this is Kelly Thompson.
Uh-huh.
If I could get, while we have the applicant still with us, if I could clarify the question presented as far as the legal opinion goes and the research that I need to do for the commission, if that could be clarified for me, I would appreciate it.
So this is Commissioner Jordan. I think the question that I've got is, it appears that the current lot coverage proposed for at least one of the sites exceeds what is allowed in the ordinance. So what is the proper procedure for them getting whatever kind of variance may be required? Do they go to us? Do they go to ZBA? Can it be packaged in with the conditional use that they're planning to request at our next meeting? So basically, what's the process for them getting some sort of variance or exception to the lot?
Okay, thank you.
And Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Jewell.
Go ahead.
It may be also helpful if staff can provide us an update on the ZBA meeting in which the decision regarding setbacks were approved.
Yeah.
This is Kelly Thompson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Bill and I could probably arrange for the minutes to be provided,
Okay.
if that would be sufficient. And I'm
Yep.
sure the recording is available for that as well.
Right. And that would be sufficient. So it fit in line with Commissioner Jordan's and the rest of our concerns of making sure we've covered all the bases.
Yeah, but I think, you know, it falls within our bailiwick we could do this with doing that conditional use hearing. But again, hold up. You got another thought, Commissioner Jewell?
No, I'm in agreement with you. I just wanted at our next meeting to have, as Kelly pointed out, minutes of the ZBA in which they approved the setback.
Okay. All right. Is there any other questions from the commissioners to the applicant? I got a simple, Adam, you got something you're gonna say?
No.
Okay, but I got a simple question. At phase 3, is that where the grocer's going in? Or is that not yet? Or maybe that's a Christian question, I don't know.
I'm not sure the question, Mr. Russell. We don't have any grocer.
I thought Hutchison, so somewhere in my head, I thought Hutchison was planning on putting a grocer in one of these phase projects.
This is Christina with North Star. Oh, sorry, if that's you, Kristen, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Christina. That was Commissioner Jordan, but you probably have more up-to-date information than I do, so please.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm sure that you do. I was just going to say that's not our project. That's not anything that we have.
That's not part of North Star?
No,
No.
it's not. It's not
Okay.
part of the Choice Neighborhoods project.
Not part of the Choice Neighborhood Project. Okay,
No.
perfect. Any
Thank
other
you.
questions from the commission to the applicant? Any other questions from the commissioners to the applicant? Hearing none, what is the desire of the commission?
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I was just wondering if we may be able to request or ask that we could receive site plan approval this evening, contingent upon approval of the conditional use meeting that would be on the 8th of September.
This is
Okay.
Commissioner Jordan.
Jordan?
So to my understanding, we would, if we were to try to move forward with some level of site plan approval tonight, it would be conditional both on the conditional use and resolution of the lot coverage question, that those would be two separate items. I understand the applicant's eagerness to try to get approval this evening. I'm also mindful of the recommendation from our city attorney that because the path is not clear as to what the process is for that reconciliation of the lot coverage, that that we may want to look at postponement. I just put that out there for the group to consider.
Sure, and we would definitely intend to address those issues that you have and have the information to respond and make any changes necessary upon that approval. So again, as I mentioned, we're just seeking a site plan approval for the overall project contingent upon addressing these specific items, which we are definitely happy to take the steps necessary in order to do so.
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Jewell. And I think you had asked for a motion.
Yes, in discussion phrase, go ahead.
Yeah, have we ended discussion?
Yeah. No.
Well, no, right now, it seems to be a discussion on how we go forward. Do we postpone this? And at the request of like our attorney?
Okay.
Suggested, or do we do?
Yeah, Mr. Chair. Yeah, Mr. Chair, my main question is, are we as the commission still in discussion? I appreciate the concern of the applicant, but we've already heard from the applicant. So I'm curious if...
What's commissioners in the right now?
Okay.
Jewell.
Okay,
and
so is there a...
Put out a proposal, and that's our discussion right now.
Okay, that was what I wanted to know.
This is Commissioner Ryan.
Yes, Commissioner Ryan.
My concern is if there was an oversight and we don't know that, I kind of feel that we need to know what was done in that meeting, and if it is an oversight, so that it can be rectified completely. And that's my concern about approving it today, because we don't know. We don't have those minutes. We don't know how it was an oversight or what's going to be done.
Well, I don't think this was an issue that the oversight that we discovered this evening was an item that was discussed in the Zoning Board of Appeals concerning those setbacks.
Okay. Well, that solves it for me. That if that was not a part of it, then it's on us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other
Mr. Chair.
Who's talking to me?
This is Adam Coppersmith.
Okay, Adam, with something you want to add, that because I'll let you add it at this point, but the commissioners in their discussive part of the meeting, but go ahead, add what you say what
I
you
just
have.
wanted to respond to the commissioner, and as you mentioned, it was not an item, the lot coverage was not an item discussed in the zoning board of appeals meeting. It was just the setback. So this is not something that was an oversight in that specifically. It was an oversight in this submission to you.
Correct. Okay. Any other discussion from the commission that we to further try to clarify this issue?
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Jewell. I will make a motion that we postpone SPR 20-935 to our September 8th Planning Commission meeting to be reviewed after PC, and do we have that public hearing number?
PC 2380.
PC 2380. So it'd be PC 20-280. Is that correct, Bill?
PC 2380.
No, it'll be PC 20-380.
Casey, give it to me again.
It's PC 20-380.
380?
Yes.
Okay. So again, my motion, based on our discussion this evening and recommendation of our attorney, postpone SPR 20-935 to our meeting on September the 8th to be held after PC 20-380 as our discussion, for our discussion.
Chairman, Commissioner Campbell, I support.
So moved and properly
Commissioner
supported.
Jones.
Okay. It's been moved and properly supported that SPR 20-935 be postponed to our next scheduled meeting on September 8th, 2020. That the conditional use public hearing on PC 20-380 be held first before the site plan. Is that correct, Commissioner Jewell?
Yes.
It's moved and properly supported. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair, this is Kelly Thompson.
Yes.
I just wanted to confirm with Bill that we are able to add this to the agenda for September 8th.
Well, yes, we can add it to the agenda, but as Commissioner Jordan has pointed out, procedurally, we need to do some research.
Right.
Because
I'm just making sure logistically that we have room and we've got time to do the notice and the legal ads and all that for the.
we don't have time to do a legal ad for September 8th meeting. The deadline's passed.
Right.
Mr. Chair, it's my understanding that legal notices, and I can be corrected, are for public hearings, which we were already informed that has already been posted in the media. In fact, I saw it. What we're discussing is postponing today's site plan
Right.
to our next meeting. We've already reviewed our site plan. A number of issues have come up. we as the planning commission are now postponing that to our next meeting, which my understanding is within our rights and authority. And secondly, it's we make the decision on what's placed on the agenda.
Yeah,
Chairman Wesley, if I may, just to try to, I think, bridge the 2 points being made there. Certainly we have the chance to postpone and make sure the site plan would get put on the next agenda. I think part of the question that I heard from the staff attorney's vantage point was whether the path for resolving the lot coverage question might involve, say, a public hearing of its own, that there would be insufficient time in which to notice it for the September 8th meeting. That being said, by September 8th, we should certainly know what the path forward is. And hypothetically, if that path forward did involve a public hearing, if we were considering the site plan on the 8th of September, that would always be within our purview to be able to make any such decision conditional upon resolving it at a subsequent meeting. So, not to argue against either point being made, but just wanting to make sure that we were on the same page.
Yeah, I think that since it's already been noticed for a public hearing, I think we can resolve, our issues at that meeting, at our meeting on September the 8th.
Mr. Chair, this is Kelly Thompson again. And Commissioner Jordan, I appreciate you trying to bridge the gap in our understandings there. And really my question was just overarching, making sure that we didn't promise to other applicants that they would be on that agenda for a public hearing or site plan reviews, just making sure all the way around that we could add them to the September 8th meeting. Obviously, the commission has the discretion to postpone and control the agenda. But just as a housekeeping matter, I wanted to make sure that it could be postponed to the next meeting.
Just to clarify, Commissioner Wesley, for Assistant Attorney Kelly Thompson, yes, we can add them to the agenda.
Okay. Very good. So motion on the floor. What is the desire? Well, it's a motion on the floor. Moved and properly second to postpone this item. I'm not going to read it again. Roll.
Commissioner Ryan?
Yes, to postpone.
Commissioner Campbell?
Yes, to postpone.
Commissioner Blower?
Yes.
Commissioner Jewell?
Yes, to postpone.
Commissioner Cook Hawkins?
Yes, to postpone.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
Commissioner Wesley?
Yes, to postpone. To the applicant, we will take this matter up again on September the 8th, 2020. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
All righty then. Next item on our agenda is case reviews. Bill, do we have any case reviews?
There are no case reviews, Commissioner Wesley.
Okay. There are no public hearings?
There are no public hearings.
Right. Next, a report. Assistant City Attorney Kelly Thompson, status of permanent marijuana ordinance.
Yes, Mr. Chair, this is Kelly Thompson. We have spoken to a few other city staff members, including Kalfani Stevens, who is going to assist us in pushing the permanent ordinance through to council for approval. We got a 5th extension of the emergency ordinance that was approved and adopted by council last night. So we have until, I have the date on my calendar, it's mid-October for emergency ordinance, and we will do all things necessary to get the permanent amendments passed before the latest extension lapses.
Okay. So we're looking at sometime in August, possibly for the permanent marijuana ordinance to be passed.
Yes, and I think that council has started going back to their regular schedule for their committee and committee of the whole meetings. So I think that will help. And I prepared a memo for city council last night, and it included an invitation for me to meet with all of them and discuss the permanent amendments. Again, I think they already did it once with Mr. Erickson, but that opportunity is presented to them again.
Okay. Any questions, concerns that commissioners might want to address with Attorney Kelly Thompson? Okay, hearing none. Next, Suzanne, are you there?
Commissioner Wesley, this is Bill Vandercook. I think she had an emergency. She had to leave.
Oh, okay. Well, staff, the status of the draft zoning ordinance and capital improvement plan. Do you have any, Bill, you have any thoughts on that, or you want us to put this over until our next meeting? What's next? The next two things on there that Suzanne had, status of the staffing.
All right.
Mr. Chair, this is Kelly Thompson.
Yes, Kelly.
I have an update for the draft zoning ordinance. There is some desire that's been expressed by members of city council to consider that at the same time as the marijuana ordinance. So that may be happening as well. And I'm sure Suzanne will be involved in that and can maybe give you a more concrete update at the next meeting, but that's been discussed.
You think after 5 years, or we can get these things passed?
Maybe.
Jeez. Okay. We'll put off status of staffing till our next meeting because Suzanne is not available. Any resolutions? None?
None, Commissioner Wesley. This is Bill Vandercook.
Okay, Bill. Old business marijuana relicensure policy routing sheets. Is that you? Ms. Thompson?
Mr. Chair, yes,
Yes.
this is Kelly Thompson. We decided sometime last week to officially implement the routing sheet. So that has been provided to all the departments. And I've spoken to all of the point people in those departments individually and explained to them our purpose for using that routing sheet and how we can go about making the process a bit more efficient. So that's been implemented, and I'm excited to use it going forward.
Okay, very good. Status of the Planning Commission membership roster. Bill, you have any?
Yes, this is Bill Vandercook. I know Suzanne Wilcox personally sent another email to the clerk's office. Casey and I visited Inez Brown, Mrs. Brown, both of us. We talked about her. They're going through just finishing up a big voting process with the city. She has been researching council minutes to determine the history for the roster, and she told Casey and I that she would have that done within the next couple days this week.
Okay. Next item is and I just got mine off of my computer. Update of the bylaw committee. Ms. Thompson?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
I don't know if everybody had an opportunity to review. I just pulled mine off of my printer. The work that have gone into the update of our new bylaws. Does commissioners have those updates in their possession?
This is Commissioner Jewell. I just pulled it up on my screen before we started, had a chance to briefly review it, but I got it before me.
Okay. Ms. Kelly, you want to do the highlight? Oh,
Can I
go
ask
ahead.
when that email was sent?
Yes, if I it was who asked for that? If they could tell me their name, please.
This is Commissioner Blower. I just
Commissioner
don't
Blower.
see that email.
Okay, I will send it to you again right now.
Thank you.
I apologize for sending it so close to the meeting. I obviously hoped to finish it and give you guys some time to review it before tonight's meeting, but it's more time consuming than I thought. Maybe I'm just being a little bit too paranoid about making it perfect, but as I noted in my email, I've updated it up to the voting section. So I was reluctant to send it at all because I don't want multiple copies out there in our emails, but just to let you guys see the progress that's been made up to the voting section. I thought it would be beneficial for you guys to look at that now.
Very understanding on the time commitment to that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Jewell. So Kelly, what I'm looking at now is a draft. Is that correct?
That's correct, Commissioner Jewell. And our intention was to do the entire rewrite in track changes, so that we could have some discussion, make any additional revisions, and then finalize it and present that for approval.
Okay, this is Commissioner Jewell again. Thank you. I would recommend, and Mr. Chair, I'd recommend that Kelly continue with the finishing of that and then send that, can we call it the final draft?
That works for me, Commissioner Jewell.
Okay, and I would recommend that you might label that item that you're sending out as final draft, so that, as you pointed out very effectively, not wanting to send things out and then people automatically assuming it is. But I am looking at one particular item, Article 4, where if you go down Article 4 under Section 1, Part B, it says the term of each member shall be for 3 years. Members shall cease to hold office at the expiration of their term. I would recommend that you re-review the appropriateness of that. It's my understanding, and I think we had a memo before that according to state law, any individual appointed to a public body shall continue to hold that position till either they're reappointed or somebody else is appointed in that position.
I think that's what.
Mr. Chair, this is Kelly Thompson. Commissioner Jewell, I'm really glad that you brought that up, and it was in my notes to bring up at tonight's meeting. That is taken directly from the new city charter, which was approved in 2018. And I actually called our chief legal officer, Angela Wheeler, and confirmed with her that that the charter would be controlling over the ordinance. So if there is a different provision in the Zoning Enabling Act or the Planning Enabling Act that says otherwise, or some other state law, then that can be addressed. But the vacation of office upon expiration is directly from the new city charter. So,
and I'm not disputing that. Okay.
Sure.
I would recommend, because we did get a memo from, and my mind just went blank, your predecessor.
Reed Erickson.
Yeah. In which they confirmed, and I think he provided that memorandum and statement after the approval of the city charter.
Okay.
Yeah,
in which that the issue was, okay, a term comes to an end, so does that person still hold that office? Well, right now there are a number of people whose terms have expired. And according to the legal statement that we got from the city attorney's office, which was, I think, this past year, they did make reference to the fact that a person that was appointed to a public body would continue their term until they were reappointed or replaced. So
okay.
it would be helpful to follow up on that.
I'm actually,
enabling.
yeah, and this is Commissioner Jordan. I'm actually pulling up the Planning Enabling Act right now. There's some benefits of being remotely and being on your computer, but yeah, so there is a section there that speaks to member terms, and it reads in part, quote, "A member shall hold office until his or her successor is appointed," end quote. So that would seem to trump the charter.
Okay.
Right.
I will, I'll try and locate that opinion that Reed Erickson prepared and address that and update our bylaws accordingly. I would obviously prefer that it be hold office until a replacement is appointed. So I will definitely look into that.
Did we say 3 years, or was that supposed to be 2 years, every 2 years?
The city ordinance and the charter say 3.
Oh, it does. Okay. All right. Yes. So this is.
But Kelly, thank you.
Yeah, we worked on this one, and Kelly done an excellent job at keeping us on task.
Yeah, don't thank me yet. Still more work to do.
Oh, well, sure of that. Okay, any of, yes.
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Campbell. Does that mean everyone just about on the board is off? Because we have all exceeded well, I should say the majority of us have exceeded our 2 times of 3.
Mr. Chair, this is Kelly Thompson.
Go ahead, Kelly.
It sounds like Mr. Erickson already addressed that in his legal opinion. And so it sounds like there's been a determination made as to that. And these bylaws are not official yet. They have not been approved. This is still a draft form. So again, I'm going to be looking into this before our next meeting. And if there's a change from what Mr. Erickson addressed last year, then I'll make the commission aware of that. But as of right now, you're all still holding your seats. So
yeah, I think all our terms have expired. Well, maybe
right.
That is correct.
Cook Hawk.
I think I'm the newbie. So
yeah, and Sorensen, they're not expired yet. But I think the rest of us, we've been cooked.
Well, Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Jewell. That's not necessarily the case, because at the beginning of the year, we had a in-depth discussion about status of replacement and reappointments. And both yourself and I as well as Lynn and April, Commissioner Sorensen and Commissioner Hawkinson were presented to the City Council, and they were, yes, both Lynn and April were approved, and your position and my position, we were reappointed.
I don't remember.
Okay.
That's public information. I mean.
All right.
It was in the. But I think Kelly, I think that would be helpful to clarify. That's why I think the information from the clerk's office helps to clarify.
Yes, I agree.
So that's an update on the bylaws. Give everybody an opportunity to review these. As I said, some hours went into that. So take time, go over and make notes, and maybe we'll look at them again at our next regularly scheduled meeting on September the 8th. Kelly, how did that sound?
That sounds great, Mr. Chair.
All righty. Planning Commission orientation update. We still, Bill, have we looked into ordering those things from that was suggested at our last meeting?
Commissioner Wesley, honestly, I have not, but I'll do it tomorrow.
Well, we understand. I understand. Especially. Okay. We'll review. Commissioner Campbell.
Yes, sir.
The 2230700.
Yes,
you
sir.
put that on whole business.
Yes, sir.
As to a number for update a phone number or something on your roster.
Okay. No. I was just wondering how many commissioners have seen the billboards with this telephone number on there, and it states that your marijuana can be delivered to you curbside if you call this number.
Oh.
So I've seen 3 of them already, and I'm trying to figure out, was something changed where you no longer have to have a building to sell, but you can now do curbside delivery?
Mr. Chair, this is Kelly Thompson.
Yeah, Kelly.
There hasn't been a change to that effect. I haven't seen these billboards personally, but my assumption would be that they're directing you to the facility and you just sit in the parking lot or curbside, and someone from within the building comes out and delivers it to you, like a drive-through kind of situation. And this has popped up not just in marijuana businesses, but others too, since the pandemic started, and to try and keep the number of people within a building to a minimum.
So there could be pop-ups. How does that affect the ones that have, they have their own building, more, their own business already? How does that affect them versus me just calling this number and getting mine delivered? Is that fair? Or is that something that's just going to be legal, so everyone will be able to do that in the future without even going through us?
No, if it is a pop-up, then it's not legal. It would be coming from a licensed business.
Okay. Well, I didn't call the number, so I don't know. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Cook Hawkins. I believe I saw those signs as well. I've seen one on Pearson Road.
Yeah, and there's one over here on North Saginaw Road, and one is on the east side. So I'm trying to figure out, is that fair for the ones that have jumped out through all the hurdles? And I would think if it was illegal, wouldn't they put their business name on there versus saying, here's a telephone number, calling, we can do curbside delivery?
So this is Commissioner Jordan, and Commissioner Campbell, when you put out the number at the beginning of the meeting, I did a Google search because I was curious. And And that number belongs to Common Citizen, which I believe is one of the places on Averill, if I'm not mistaken.
That is on Averill, correct.
So
Common?
Yep, Common
Okay.
Citizen. They've gone through our process. You know, the whole
Right.
business around curbside, I'm not sure, but they have had to go through and get their special regulated use permit through us already.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that name, but I didn't know what it was. I was just wondering, was it legal? But if it's connected to a business, it's legal for that type of advertising and that type of delivery.
Right. I think the marketing strategy of just a number is interesting and maybe strategic, but as long as it's tied to a licensed business, then that would be permissible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking. I was just checking because of all the money that other people have paid out and jumped through all the hoops. I want to make sure that now all of a sudden you can just, curbside and just get it.
Right. That was a great question, and I'm going to be looking out for those signs now.
Okay. Well, thank you. That's all I had, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any new business? Here.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry. This is Kelly Thompson. And maybe it would have been more appropriate to address this in old business, but I wanted to bring to the commission's attention the facility that was licensed. It was licensed under grandfathered status on Miller Road. I think it's gone by a couple of different names now. But we have a situation where it appears that the business has not been in operation for maybe even a couple of years. And there is a provision in our existing marijuana ordinance for someone to lose their grandfathered status and or for their license to be deemed revoked if the business is not in operation for a certain period of time. So, and I'm gonna work with Bill on figuring out the best way to go about this, but I wanted to bring it to the commission's attention because it might be necessary to put it on the agenda for a public hearing.
That's the one on Miller and Ballinger. Well, right in that section.
Yeah, it's close to there.
Yeah.
Is that on the corner of Miller and Colchester?
Colchester. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the one that we had the neighborhood uprising about.
Right.
Yeah. That was the one.
I've talked to our building inspector about the last time that he went out there and did an inspection. And the last time they've obviously not been back for a license renewal on an annual basis. And just driving past there, the building looks vacant. There's no signage. There was a car in the parking lot today, but it was sort of in the back, like maybe it was a carpool situation. I don't know. But in general, the building just looks completely vacant. So I think that could be something that the commission should address.
Commissioner Wesley, the address is 2849 Miller Road.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know. Commissioners have a thought on that? I know the neighborhood would be
happy.
Yeah. That they don't have a license and they lose the grandfather status, and because that don't, if they lose that, that's going to be very difficult for them to get any type of facility there.
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Jewell. It may be appropriate for Kelly to follow up with you regarding any of the specifics that she raised and the appropriateness of putting it on the agenda.
All right.
Mr. Chair, this is Kelly Thompson.
Yes.
I will prepare a memorandum to this point and make an official recommendation that we can put on the record for our next meeting.
Very good. I have no problem with that. Okay, anything else? The chair will entertain. Chip, before I put this thing for a motion, anybody else want to send their Clark Commons site plan back to Van der Cook?
Oh my God.
The bus is on the way.
Yeah, we need a U-Haul or something to carry these suckers. But Bill, I might call you if I'm out and about and say, hey, I got something for you, man.
Pick them up.
No, you ain't got to pick mine up. I'll deliver it to you.
All right, drop it off here.
I'll hook on my belt and all that stuff to carry it.
It'll save me some money this winter for the wood I need to burn.
Okay.
My kids are going to have art paper for the next year.
Hey, but you know, Elizabeth, I was thinking between Miles and Kenneth, that's great paper they can have there, girl. I mean, you don't have to buy no more paper for this. Okay. The chair will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Motion to adjourn, Commissioner Ryan.
It's been moved. Support?
Support.
Hey, folks. Thanks for joining in. It's great to have everybody on board and look forward to seeing you on September the 8th.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take
Sounds
care.
like a plan. Have
All right.